Hi everyone, this is Victoria Fashen and welcome back to my channel. Last month, Netflix released a series based on Wednesday Addams from the Addams family. It's predominantly about Wednesday, her growing up, going to school, specifically a boarding school that is dedicated to outcasts because she almost attempted to murder a classmate in public school. Really enjoyed about this series was that Wednesday's character, along with the rest of the Addams family, except Catherine Zeta-Jones because she's Welsh, really emphasized their cultural background, such as them being Latino, but I believe in this interpretation of the Addams family, they're Mexican or Mexican descent. And it was very refreshing to see that Tim Burton made this series and made it more inclusive, especially in the Latino community. I started thinking about this particular trope that is often portrayed in Hollywood, and that is the spicy Latina trope. So let me read it to you. The spicy Latina trope is when somebody from the Latino communities, particularly Latinas, are often portrayed as hot-blooded, passionate, aggressive, and hypersexual. This stigma has been going on in pop culture for a very long time. Usually, this trope is depicted upon adults. Wednesday not only appears to be a teenager that happens to be Latina, but she's also part of a family that lives a very particular unconventional lifestyle. And for the first time, her character actually destroys the spicy Latina trope, which I really appreciate. Most likely, Wednesday is neurodivergent, she's introverted, and she prefers to be alone in solitude. She's very analytical, creative, likes classical music, likes to play instruments. Wednesday is an outcast wherever she roams around, whether if it's a school of outcasts, whether if it's in the real world, even in her own family. But most importantly, Wednesday is authentically herself, that it becomes a detriment to her own character. Surely there are comparisons of the spicy Latina trope with Wednesday, as in she can be competitive, she stands her ground, she doesn't let anybody take advantage of her. I hate to break it to you, but not every Latina falls under that particular category of being a spicy Latina, because you know what? We can be introverted, we are smart, we are cultured, we are not only flesh machines that just poop babies out of our uterus. No, we are far more than that, and I think that's why Wednesday is a very positive icon for Latinas out there that don't want to be considered a spicy Latina or don't want to be follow the same pattern as the generation before us and ancestors before us. Aside from not even being Latina, it's just like standing up for yourself, being authentically yourself. That's hard for many people, that people have to wear masks, and she didn't do that. People are saying that she would be listening to Billie Eilish and possibly other pop artists. However, I disagree, and I'm gonna tell you why. I already said Wednesday is a very cultured teenager. She likes the arts, she likes crime, she likes, in the show, you hear Edith Piaf, which she was a famous singer in the 1930s or 40s, and she is from France. She's been an iconic singer in France for a very long time. There's also La Llorona. La Llorona is a song that is from a Mexican artist, and it's a beautiful song if you're feeling down and if you're feeling melancholy and you want to just feel any emotions and just feel validated, listen to that song. Just analyzing what kind of songs they chose for Wednesday, here are some other artists, composers that I can think of that she would listen to. So she would probably listen to Chopin, Vivaldi, because she played Vivaldi, Beethoven, Bach, Tchaikovsky, Mozart, maybe Eric Satie, and also Claude Debussy. And as for goth songs, I would possibly say that she would probably listen to the staple artists such as Bauhaus, Susie, Sisters, but I believe she would also probably listen to Clan of Zymox, Lycia, Diamanda Galas, Corpus Electi, Frozen Autumn, Ghost Dance, and probably Exmal Deutschland. These are just some bands that I can think of what her character would listen to. 2022 was a year of the outcast, as in pop culture. We had Eddie Munson in the summer in Stranger Things, and we have Wednesday. Growing up, one of the comments you would hear as a goth, people would try to offend you by saying like, oh, so you're Wednesday now, because they're trying to mock you. Lately, a lot of so-called normies are now dressing up as a goth, cosplaying like Wednesday, or even trying to be cool. And whereas when they were probably younger, some of them, I'm not saying all of them, some of them would probably make fun of us who were into the darker side of life, who were into this kind of music. You know, us goths, we're still here and we're not going anywhere. In fact, I feel like after the pandemic, goth has been more popular more than ever. Being said, it's no longer underground, and it's actually cool now to create a dark wave band. I can't help this because I can be a gatekeeper. Goth is a music-based subculture, and I know you're tired of every other person saying that, but it's true. It started in the late 70s, early 80s, and from post-punk, and then it derived into its own thing, and then Batcave came along, and then we had death rock in LA, and we had New York as well, also in Germany. So it was starting to boom during the 80s and starting to form itself during that time. And I just don't understand why it's so complicated for people to know that, you know, it is a music-based culture. Unfortunately, because one of the things I don't like, and it's been about a month since Wednesday has been aired on Netflix, it's attracting a lot of posers, and it's attracting a lot of people who don't value us or just think our lifestyle is a joke, and they don't take us seriously. And being a goth, for a lot of people, I can't speak for all, but for my story, it's been a fight. Whether if it was inside my home, whether if it was as soon as I got out of my house, school, work, it was difficult being in this lifestyle. Some people would get into altercations. We had to learn how to protect ourselves. So if you see somebody that can be aggressive, it's because we had plenty of people taunting us where, like I said, wherever we go, it was nonstop. We had religious fundamentalists trying to tell us how to live our lives. It was just never ending. And so when you see a goth online being defensive or feeling a certain way because they now feel like, oh, now it's cool to look like an outcast, to look because you're trying to be cool and you're trying to be edgy. It's simply because we had to fight. There's no way around it. We had to fight when we were younger. I mean, one of the positive things about now, about 2023, is that if I want to find clothes or if I want to find spooky stuff online and hang them up on my wall, it's so easy for me to find that now, whereas before it was so difficult. But again, that's also another subject because that's already like feeding into consumerism, so whatever. But I also want people to understand that it was a fight, and it was a fight, us being in the subculture, whether if you're a goth, whatever alternative lifestyle you live, whether you were a goth, even if you were into witchcraft, emo, metalhead, punk, whatever it was always a fight. And that's something that needs to be said and more understood. So instead of trying to feel like we are attacking you, trying to educate you, and also know that, like, have more compassion. I mean, granted, if somebody's being a dick to you online, then I could see why you would be defensive. But if somebody's trying to educate you and telling you about the lifestyle, the scene, the subculture, and their perspective, hear them out. Hear what they have to say. But if they're disrespecting you, I could totally understand why you would not want to hear them at all. There's some things I don't like about the Addams family, like for example the relationship of Gomez and Morticia. It's a little flat for me. I don't really have a problem with the casting of Gomez Addams because he actually looks like the comic book character in the original Addams family. But I did feel like their relationship was a bit flat. There wasn't that much passion, or I really didn't like that too much. I hope this video was very informative. I hope you guys liked this video, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Please remember to like and subscribe on my channel, and I'll see you guys next time.